How do YouTubers make money on this platform? That's the question that I'm going to answer in this video. It's the most common question that I get asked after 11 months on this particular platform. And I'm going to walk you through 14 different steps of ways that you can earn an income from creating content here on YouTube and from a couple of other sources beyond that. This is a video about everything that you want to know about earning money. That has been published already, and some of the secrets that many content creators won't tell you about their earnings. So I'm going to walk you through every single one, and along the bottom here I'm going to timestamp every single section of this video so that if you want to jump to something that's more relevant to you, you can do. But this is the video that you've all asked for. So let's start with number one. So number one, AdSense, otherwise known as monetization. And what does it take to become monetized on YouTube? Well, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in a 12-month period, a rolling 12-month period, in order to hit the thresholds that allow you to apply for monetization on the YouTube platform. Monetization, you apply through Google and they'll approve you for an AdSense account. What that then means is that once you have been approved, you can then apply advertising to each of the videos that you make. Advertising is done at the start and end of your videos, and also if your video is over 8 minutes long, you can add mid-rolls, which means adverts that are placed in the middle of your content. You can decide where those adverts are placed, and of course then, well, how do you make money from those? Advertisers will pay to Google to sponsor videos, and within that they will pay a CPM, which is a cost for each advertisement that's placed. Within your video, you will be able to see what advertisers are paying, and then what you'll be able to see is what revenue share that you get from that. Now, advertisers in different territories will change the pricing. So for example, if your content is in the UK or America or both, advertising tends to be much higher than it is in some other territories. Categories also matter. So for example, a video talking about finance, for example, will pay a significantly higher advertising rate than something, for example, like gaming or travel. Those carry lower costs. So for example, let me show you two videos here. I recently made a video talking about the HMRC, and here on the screen now you can see exactly how much the advertisers were willing to pay for that particular topic. And now I'm going to show you a video here where I reviewed a roast beef dinner here in Kuala Lumpur, and I'll show you exactly what advertisers were willing to pay for that particular video as well. As you can see from those two images, the difference between what advertisers are willing to pay can be vast. So finance channels do immensely well in terms of the revenue. Gaming channels, however, pay a very small portion, and so your potential earnings can be impacted just dependent on the topic that you cover. Now, you can have a channel that's kind of generic. Mine's John Talks About. I cover many different topics, from travel to eating out to finance to midlife reinvention. I cover different topics throughout a month, which gives me a different revenue, which overall pays out once a month. YouTube typically will pay you between the 20th and the 25th of the month. That's how it works for me. The money goes into my bank account and that's it, it's paid. Now, you also have to factor in that if you're living within a particular country, you may need to pay tax on that earnings that you have received once you've gone above your tax threshold within that country. So as an example, in the UK, £12,000 earnings before you pay tax. Beyond that, you would then actually start to pay from your earnings on YouTube. So that's the AdSense portion. That's the number one way that people start to earn on this platform. Number two, channel memberships. Channel memberships is a way for your most loyal viewers to sign up to a monthly membership. You can create individual tiers and perks and features for those loyal members to be able to access. So let me give you an example. I have a basic channel membership here that costs $2.99 a month. And for that $2.99 a month, I make sure to answer all comments on videos from the channel members first as a priority, as a kind of reward for being part of that ecosystem. Beyond that, I create additional content that only the channel members can view, and that's kind of like behind the scenes footage, some extra travel vlogs from here in Kuala Lumpur, and also from just interacting with the channel members themselves directly. You also get badges that change for each month that you're a channel member as well. So there's lots of little features that you can build in there. You set the pricing structure. So some channels might have a $2.99 level, a $5.99 level, a $9.99 level. And within those, for example, you may do exclusive live streams directly only with the members. You can structure that as you see fit. But that's built into YouTube. YouTube takes about 30% of the membership fee, and depending on how the person pays for the membership, so if they do it directly through YouTube on a laptop, then YouTube only takes 30%. If, however, you do it through something like Apple Pay, then Apple Pay also takes a cut of that channel membership. So that's how you can earn by setting a structure on the platform for your most loyal viewers that want to support you. To give you an example, I have around typically 28 to 30 viewers who have subscribed and who interact with me through that membership program. I earn a very small amount of money from that. It's about £50 a month, but it all adds up. So if you're building a small channel and you're looking for extra ways, this is just another revenue stream that you can include into your content. Number 3 on this list, super chats and super stickers. What is a super chat? Well, during a live Q&A where you would be talking directly to your audience with a live chat system flowing at the side of your screen, viewers can actually pay, make a donation to your channel and have that either appear on the screen or for you to ask a specific question. So for example, I've now hosted 3 live Q&As where I've taken questions from viewers during the stream. However, the chat can be moving at quite a pace. So if a viewer wants a very specific topic asked and for you to answer, they can actually pay. It's kind of like giving a tip or a donation. And from that, you can then identify questions that you specifically want to answer. So for example, some of the big streams may only answer super chats at any time. And a super sticker is effectively just placing a sticker on the screen or within the chat to show your appreciation for that live stream. How much can you earn from all of that? It really depends on your particular content, how engaged your audience is, and whether they're willing to make an investment in this. Some channels will charge $2.99, $5.99, $10.99, £100 to ask a specific topic and have that debated. That really comes down to you as a content creator. I've hosted 3 live Q&As, and from super chats on that particular content topics, I've earned around £100. Now again, YouTube takes a cut. Apple will take a cut depending on how these are paid. So that could be 30% to Apple, 30% to YouTube if somebody did that through an iOS device like an iPhone. If they place the super chat through a laptop device whilst watching a live stream, YouTube will only take 30% of that. So if somebody tips you £10, for example, you're going to walk away with 7 of it. If somebody does it on an iPhone, however, then you're losing another £3 of that cost. All right, so that's how super chats and super stickers works. Just another way to earn some additional money on YouTube. Number 4, thanks, tips, and donations. Now this is where generosity really kicks in from your particular viewers. Some people watching this and listening to this particular topic will think, what? And others will think, yeah, I understand, I want to support a creator. So what do I mean by all of this? Well, when you make a video and you post it, a viewer might connect with that content and decide, I've really appreciated this so much that I want to send you a little bit of a thanks for this. And so using the YouTube platform, they can click on your video, click on the thanks button and say, I'm willing to send you £10, £20, £30, whatever they decide. That could be as low as just £1 or £2, just to say thanks for that content. It's a thanks, it's a tip, or it's a donation. Now, again, on a platform like YouTube, it purely depends on where that source comes from. If they do it on a laptop, whilst on the YouTube platform, YouTube takes 30%. If they do it on an iPhone through iOS on the YouTube app, Apple also takes an additional 30%. So A large portion of the tip or donation will probably go to the platforms that are providing this content, that are hosting it as a service to you, and the content creator will get the remainder out of it, 40%. So it's a great way to say thanks. I'll give you an example. Have I done it? Yes. I've watched many channels here where I've learned a lot, particularly about finance, stocks, etc. And I have said thanks to that content creator and sent £10 or £20 here or there. Now here's the question. How much have I earned from that in my time here on the channel? Somewhere around a couple of £100 so far. Nothing more than that, because by the time that YouTube and also potentially Apple takes its cut, 40% is really what's left of it potentially for you. So it can be a bit of a challenge, right? But I am immensely grateful. Now, just on that particular topic, let me just say thanks to all of these people here who have recently left me a tip here on YouTube. I just wanted to catch up on all of this and say thank you so much. What do I do with that money? Once it's paid through from YouTube, Yvonne and I have a dinner. We go for a coffee and something from you to me, and I appreciate it. So that's another route that you can make money on here. It's not something that you can be guaranteed with, but it is an option that's available to you for income. Number 5, brand partnerships and of course sponsorships. Now this is where most content creators won't tell you this information. This is where the big money comes in. This is where a brand or a product or a company might approach you as a content creator and ask you to insert a 30 or 60-second video within your specific content, or they might ask you to create a unique video solely about their product or service. This is where the big money is earned. This is where most YouTubers will not tell you about this. How do I know about it? Well, I've worked at many different businesses that have paid content creators to include products that I've sold in their specific videos. How much does all of that cost? It really depends. Depends on the content creator's size, how many views they get, what you want out of the review, whether that be a completely unbiased review, whether that be a 30-second or a 60-second segment. Let me give you an example. I'm a small YouTube channel. Yep, 18,000 subscribers is still considered small. I would expect a brand approaching me to do a 30 or 60-second segment within my video to pay somewhere around £200 to £500. That's purely based on the number of views that I get. Some brands will specifically limit the actual payment depending on how many views the video gets. There will be contracts exchanged, there will be negotiations to go through on all of this. Now, I've never had a sponsorship at this point. I've been approached by multiple brands, none that I would feel are relevant to my channel or that I would want to work with and present to you as my audience. So that's why I haven't taken any revenue from this area. How much have I spent in the past to do this as a brand? Thousands, if not tens of thousands. At the last couple of brands I worked with, I would specifically look for content creators that would have somewhere around 50 to 100,000 subscribers. And I've paid anywhere from £3,000 to £10,000 to have a product featured within that video. So where do content creators make the big money from? It's this particular section. It's the brand sponsorships, it's the brand takeovers. Big channels with millions of viewers, the likes of a Mr. Beast, for example, or a Marques Brownlee who's reviewing actual tech products. It could be millions of pounds in sponsorship, millions of dollars in sponsorships. This is the crazy section of YouTube. But for me, it's got to be relevant to the content that I'm making. It's got to fit, and so far, none of that has happened. But that could be simply something like a brand asking you to review a product. I, of course, use cameras, I use technology, and people ask me all the time, what products do you use? I may find that a brand approaches me and says, hey, would you like to feature our product and review it and talk to your audience about it? That would be a brand sponsorship. So that is the bit that nobody really talks to you about. That is the big money earner. Some brands will give you the products free of charge. And again, they're never truly free, right? You're reviewing the product and now you're reviewing it by a brand who wants you to have a product, and you have to think, do I want more products from that brand down the line? Well, how favourable is the review going to be? Yeah, exactly. That's something to take into consideration when somebody is promoting a brand to you. And within all of that, even if the product is given free, it still comes under a tax bracket for you as the creator. The product is not truly free. Many creators have fallen foul to that down the line when the taxman comes calling, because the brand itself is giving you the product and writing it off as a tax expense. There is a path there. The brand will be telling the taxman, we've given this content creator X amount of product and we're writing it off as a loss against marketing. And if the content creator doesn't declare that, they'll come a knocking one day. But there you go. That's how brand sponsorships works. Number 6, affiliate links. What does that mean? Well, it's the potential for you to earn by recommending a product that you may use as a pass-through for a viewer to potentially purchase that on another platform. Let me give you an example of that. One of the biggest and most widely used platforms here will be Amazon. So if you have a look in my description, for example, common questions that I get asked: what camera do you use, John? What microphone have you got? What laptop? What software do you edit this? And rather than answering those questions every single time, down in the description of every single video, I post a list of the technology that I use. And next to those items, it says AD, advertisement. And what that means is that there's a link there to take you to Amazon if you want to see that specific product. That is an affiliate link. Now, what happens there is if you, the viewer, decide that you're interested in the camera that I use and you click on the description and it takes you to Amazon and you decide to buy that particular product, I make a very, very small amount of revenue from that. Many content creators will do that, particularly around things like fashion, makeup, technology. Those are the biggest areas that content creators will focus on. So for me, all of the products that I use are down below. I'm part of the Amazon affiliate program, and if you click on that link and go and buy the product, I make a small margin out of it. So next question, how much money do you make from all of that? It depends on the product. When you're an affiliate, you go to Amazon, you find the product, it generates a code specifically for that product that links back to you as an affiliate, and then it tells you the margin that you'll make from that. To give you some idea, all of the technology products that are listed below, it's somewhere around 1% I would see as a potential revenue. Now that will be different. Makeup might be more like 10, 20%, which is why some content creators focus specifically on that. For me, for example, it's just to answer the question, what am I using? And if I make something out of it, then it all adds up. Now, here's the question. How much have I made from affiliate links so far? Simple answer, nothing. Absolutely zero. I am, however, a relatively new channel and you've got to start somewhere. I can see from the data that around 200 to 300 people, having watched these videos, have clicked through to Amazon and have at least looked at the products. So if it's beneficial for me to share what technology I use, then I'm happy to do that. Am I making any money out of that? No. Might I down the line? Sure. And sometimes you've got to try these things out to see if it works for you on the channel. But for me so far, no earnings from it. I'm trying it out. Number 7, digital products. This is where, using your content, you might be able to turn something into a digital content that could be downloaded by a viewer. What do I mean by that? Maybe a course, maybe something that's educational, tips and tricks, anything that you might have as a skill set that you can turn into a digital product, like, for example, a PDF document, an Excel document, or just an actual course that somebody can work through. For example, back in 2020, when I started learning stocks and shares, I was following a really prominent channel that was covering many of these topics. They have created about 18 courses so far. I've paid for a number of those courses, downloaded documentation, researched it and learned it. So if you have a channel that has some kind of educational content attached to it, something that somebody might be interested in reading more information about, creating a digital download can also bring in revenue. Let me give you an example. From my channel here, I've created 3 documents so far. I had a video that was called Effed at 47, where I talked about some of my health challenges and things that I'd done to try and change my life. And I talked about supplements that I'd taken and how I was managing my sleep patterns and some exercise. I turned that into a PDF document and I offered it as a download. Now, the way I structured that was the document was free of charge. It was hosted on a platform called Ko-Fi, which is buy me a coffee effectively. You could go and download that document free of charge, but if you wanted to buy me a coffee, you could do. I've created 3 documents so far. They've been downloaded somewhere in the region of around 200 times. And what have I earned from all of that? From donations and tips, somewhere around £200 to £250 from people that have downloaded them. Now, you might just add a specific cost to download that document, in which case then the person pays for it and downloads it. Again, that can be a really interesting way for you to generate extra income from the content here that you're creating on the platform. Number 8, physical products that you can sell. Now, some channels that have a very prominent brand might create actual merchandise to sell to you, particularly in the gaming community, t-shirts, mouse mats, gaming chairs, all of these things that can have branding that you could create a product, whether that's putting your logo onto something in the Far East using a drop shipping company to ship directly to your clients. That can all be done on the platform, working with your viewer base. Let me give you an example. Over 2020 to 2024, I was running a Twitch channel, and on there I was broadcasting weekly as a DJ, streaming live music every weekend. Me, my wife, we had a branding of that channel. It was called Club Damage. We created t-shirts, we created shot glasses, we created prizes, giveaways, and we had the branding on that. People bought them, people won them, we raffled them away. That's an area that you could maybe focus on with your channel and again, bring in some revenue. The easiest examples here are always t-shirts, mugs, mouse mats, those kind of products that you can put your logo specifically on. But physical items is a way that you can generate extra revenue. Number 9, Patreon, Ko-Fi, Buy Me a Coffee. What are these? They're additional content platforms where you can send your viewer base over to watch maybe additional behind the scenes footage. You can create membership platforms. It's very much like YouTube memberships. However, it means that you're not quite at risk of having your entire base on YouTube. Patreon being one of the biggest platforms. Patreon, you can create multiple tier memberships. So $2.99, $4.99, $9.99. You can host live streams specifically on that platform. You can post additional content, sometimes content that may be not suitable for YouTube, for example, where you can push the boundaries a little bit more, perhaps political topics, fighting channels, for example, that cover mixed martial arts, where some of that content may be deemed as violent on YouTube, could be hosted on Patreon. Ko-Fi, very similar platform. I use Ko-Fi myself. I've hosted 3 downloadable documents on there. I post some extra images, people follow me on there. They also give donations and tips. Why do you use those specific platforms? Well, as I covered earlier on, YouTube is very aggressive in their potential cut of your earnings. These platforms are significantly more favorable in what they'll take from you. For example, if you send me a tip or a donation on Ko-Fi, Ko-Fi takes 5%. If you send me a tip or a donation on YouTube, YouTube takes 30%, and Apple may also take an additional 30% of that. So if you're a viewer and you want to support your content creators and make sure that they get the most out of your potential money that you're passing on to them, these platforms are where to do it. Number 10, consulting and one-to-one sessions. This is an area that I've recently started to focus on myself. Having gone through a 11-month process of selling all of my possessions, notifying HMRC, exiting the UK and then relocating, people want to reach out to you and talk to you about your experience because people might want to go through the exact same learnings and talk to you directly. So this could be a way that you could set up a Google or a Zoom call, charge for an hourly rate, half an hour, 50-minute, 2-hour sessions with people that again can help you bring in additional revenue. I'm doing exactly that. If you're interested in talking to me about this way of life, you can reach out to me in the email down below. I've also paid other content creators to have one-on-ones, particularly around stock trading and how to manage my finances over the last number of years, to build an income, to learn how to things that you weren't taught at school, how to manage your money well. I've taken courses with people on a one-to-one basis where I can spend an hour talking to somebody and ask all the questions that are relevant to me. So that's another topic that you can earn just from your content here on YouTube. Number 11, courses or workshops. Now this is an area, again, that depending on your content could be a major revenue driver for you. To give you an example of myself, I have in the past bought courses from YouTube creators because I wanted to learn about a specific topic. Courses could be priced somewhere between 10, 100 or thousands of pounds. Let me give you an example. James Smith, one of the biggest creators on YouTube right now, a guy from England who started out as a sports advisor, a trainer, and has now gone on to build multiple seven-figure businesses. And now his content is focused around helping content creators monetize their businesses. He creates courses, and right now, if you have a look, I think his latest course is around £2,500 to purchase. So no wonder he's making seven figures from multiple businesses. If you start to think about how you can build that into your particular channel, this is where your business can really explode from this. So some people will watch this and think, who's buying a course from a YouTuber? Others will think, yep, I want to learn from this person. They clearly know about a specific topic and I want to benefit from their experience in that particular topic itself. Number 12, licensing your footage. Now, if you're a content creator, for example, that travels, you may be able to sell some of your content to platforms like Storyblocks or even to news agencies that want to use that particular footage. Perhaps topical news events or some weather issue that's just taken place. Some of that content can then be licensed out to those platforms. There are people who will pay for footage to use as B-roll segments within their own travel vlogs, where maybe an aerial shot, a drone shot, for example, and your footage can be sold on those platforms. It will be small, but it can potentially just, again, add to your revenue. If you are a camera reviewer or a blogger or a traveler, this is an area that you can tap into to drive additional revenue. Number 13, speaking and media events. Now, this isn't going to come at the very start of your channel experience as you're building your audience, but maybe down the line, if you've got a sizable audience or subscribers following your channel, you may be invited onto podcasts, you may be invited on to speaking events to talk about your experience. If you've become an expert in your field, you may be then offered the opportunity to go on and sit on other YouTube channels or other podcasts and talk. Many of these can be paid. So again, it's another opportunity for you to earn income. People don't go on blogs and vlogs and all of these podcasts for free. Some will, some absolutely will, because it will be self-promotion of your channel, but many of them are paid. Many of them are earning potentially hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands from appearing on the most popular vlogs and blogs and podcasts that are out there. Number 14, and the last one in my list, but I'm sure you can think of plenty other ways. You can let me know down below. But travel experiences, travel, hotels, restaurants. Now this is where a country, a travel board, or perhaps a hotel chain might invite you to come and review their locations, to come and experience their culture and to record it, vlog it and share it with your audience. You may have seen many travel channels when they go to places like, let me use an example, China recently. Many vloggers and travel experts were traveling to China. Now, is this done free of charge? Probably not. There will be a travel board involved, there will be a contract and there will be a fee, and the costs of traveling to those locations taken care of on behalf of that particular vlogger. It might also be go and experience in a restaurant, go and experience a hotel. Now, I recently posted a video talking about having a roast beef dinner here in Kuala Lumpur. I can tell you, I paid for that meal myself. We didn't tell the restaurant we were coming. When I arrived, I asked the member of staff, is it okay if I video myself and my wife eating the meal? There was no cost. They didn't take anything off the bill for me. However, that can happen. You can get restaurants that will invite a vlogger or a content creator to come and sample exactly what they have got going on for their, as promotion, as a brand promotion. And that's the last way that I'm going to suggest that you can make money. So that's 14 different ways that you can earn from just having a YouTube channel. And many of these won't be discussed by other content creators. So I want to say thank you to my memberships. I'll put your names up on the screen now, the people who have sponsored this video and supported this channel for the last couple of months. To everybody else that sent me a Ko-Fi, a tip, a donation, bought me a coffee, bought Yvonne and I some coffee or a dinner, or downloaded any of my documents or scheduled a one-to-one with me, thank you so much. thank you. I cannot say that enough. You've helped build this channel to 18,000 subscribers so far, and I hope some of these tips will help you think about how you can also do exactly what we are doing. Creating a channel, making some money, and living in a different way. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.